Coming in number one is Deadpool. Again, it made 55 million, experienced a 58-59% drop off from its previous week high of 150 million over 4 days. And just in 2 weeks, it made 235 million.
On a budget of just 58 million, which just goes to show that you can produce these movies cheaply and still get a huge box office.
We've seen some breakout hits, right? I mean, movies that just came out of nowhere, low budget films, and then they made like 200, 300. I mean, movies that went on to have an amazing run. And people don't know why. And the notable thing about Deadpool is it's an R-rated superhero movie. And the talk right now is that will studios take the wrong lessons from this movie and
take the wrong lessons,
right? Or take any lessons from this movie and say, hey, R-rated movie, we need language, we need violence,
we need gore, we need blood.
Right. So I mean, I guess like we said, this movie will open up the superhero movie field. More flexible, but I guess some people might say, hey, people might take this thing and say, hey, it's the language or it's the wisecracking jokes, self-aware jokes in the movie. So whatever.
Yeah, basically we're afraid that studios might get overboard with this and start making R-rated movies R-rated comic book movies with blood, gore, sex, etc. from now to eternity.
They should really, if there is a story to tell, right?
Yeah. I mean, part of the great thing about Deadpool is that's what makes it different. It's also a movie that works. The storyline works. All this stuff works with the character. That's the main thing. You don't want to be like WB and, just because Christopher Nolan did so well with the Batman movies by making it more realistic, more down to earth, making it darker. They don't go and make every one of their superhero movies gritty, realistic, and dark. That style works for Batman because that's the character. Batman is not a superhero with superpowers. And Batman is very dark. So it works with the character, it works with the story. But Superman is completely different. Superman is bright, colorful, cheery, the complete opposite of Batman. That's what I feel could be a drawback for a Superman movie, is that you make him dark, and that's not really what Superman is.
Right, and you say that one of the reasons for Deadpool's success is that it's different enough from the other superhero movies.
That's what makes it different. But if you start cranking out, 20 R-rated, gory, superhero comic book movies, then you wouldn't. What makes it special?
Right. Do you think that it is because that is different enough that maybe it's just a one-off success? Maybe the sequel wouldn't do as well because hey, they already seen what Deadpool has to offer, so to speak.
Like Batman, like Christopher Nolan's Batman, this approach works really well for that character. That's what that character is. That's what Deadpool is. So I don't think it's going to be a one-off because it's one of those things that works for that character. That's how the character was written in the comic books. Now, what's interesting is what people are talking about is that Fox might make Wolverine an R-rated Wolverine movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they say originally, I'm not a comic book fan, so I don't know all the details, but according to people who are fans of Wolverine, apparently to them, Wolverine is supposed to be, R-rated because he is kind of more edgy, bloody, gory type of superhero.
He can, bust out those 4-letter words too, and he has claws for weapons.
Yeah, so with the X-Men movies, they kind of, they gave people the PG-13, the cleaned up version. So they're thinking maybe now because Deadpool has been so successful, they might make an R-rated, for the third Wolverine movie, they might make it R-rated.
Which I think might be a mistake.
I don't know. It might be interesting. It might break him out that we've seen Wolverine in like 6 or 7 movies already.
Well, yeah, but I think the extra rating, the one notch up, I probably wouldn't add enough to the character, to the movie story-wise. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Interesting experiment.
Right. The thing is, for some movies, the R rating is appropriate, and PG-13 cleaned up version might not be. Like like the Expendables movies. The first 2 were R rated, and then the third one they thought they wanted to reach a bigger, larger audience, so they went PG-13 and they completely backfired on them. No,
Well, there was this the movie leaked online, didn't it?
video piracy in general. I'm not sure how much it affects the movies nowadays because it really only affects China where it's like rampant video privacy, but in the US it doesn't have that huge of an effect. You never know, but I think the PG-13 rating also has a huge effect. And
well, I suspect that the leak I think affect the home video market more than the theatrical release.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, it's also the third Expendables movie. No, the Expendables might have been like one of those movies that are good for one movie and not good enough to be three. But yeah, with Deadpool, I'm curious about an R-rated Wolverine movie.
I think it's workable, but just
Yeah.
my personal feeling that it probably wouldn't add much to it.
Yeah,
I
mean,
you know,
I guess
I mean,
people have already seen him so many times.
yeah, and it is really his redemption story, right? I mean, you could say he's not a guy with a lot of luck. All
Right,
these things happened to him. His lover got killed,
right,
and he's trying to find his way. I guess he's trying to leave this world of violence, but things keep on pulling him back in, so to speak.
right.
Okay, I think we drifted to Wolverine.
Yeah,
Well, speaking
right.
about Deadpool, but yeah, you could say Deadpool will, as we said, Deadpool will open the way for other superhero movie having an harder edge.